0. Slowly open your eyes. Hello, Masters. Welcome to the fourth session of Yuva Shakti Daily Meditation. Here, this is a platform where many youths have shared their spiritual journey, which has brought immeasurable transformation in their lives. So, today is weekend Swadhyaya session. We have Ankit from Haryana, who is an artist by profession and part of PSSM since 5 years. He'll be sharing insights from the book You Forever by Lobsan Rampa, which is the most recommended and inspiring book suggested by Patriji. In this book, we can know about aura, astral traveling, astral planes, and much more. So let's hear it from Ankit today. Let's welcome Ankit. Hello, Ankit. Welcome to the session.
Thank you, Divya, and thank you, Manasa, for asking me to have this session. And it's great to see so many participants. I welcome all. I thank Yuva meditation journey that you have been doing. So to begin the session, I would like to share my journey, how I got to know about this Master T. Lotsam Rampa and how my meditation journey started. So I hooked on to meditation in my college days where uh, I met a person called Chanakya from my college where he was so much of it interested into meditation, and he was a third eye master. He could connect to lot many masters. So in my college journey, he was like a mentor to me, and he only introduced me to PSSM and uh, all the pyramid meditation and all the books that PSSM is recommending. So in one of the sessions, he got connected to Lobsang Rampa while reading the book, and he was sharing lot many visions about other planes, how Lobsang Rampa is teaching in that plane, and how the school is. So that really thrilled me and made me excited to read his books and get all the knowledge and how he got all the knowledge. So the first book which I picked was You Forever. And later I came to know that Patri sir has also recommended this book and has said so many, he has got so many great experiences through this book. While I took this book, I finished this book in less than 2 days. And in one of the meditation, I got this vision that I am in a plane. I'm just wondering, looking where I am, and it was a hilly area, and it was night time. And while walking in that area, I sat down, and I could see uh, a guy in a robe, bald head, was coming towards me, and like a friendly person, he started talking to me. And later, I came to know that it was a pyramid, and we were in a pyramid where I started questioning about life, death, and all the higher truth. And he pat on my back and he said, "You know all the things. Why are you asking me?" So, like that, in a friendly note, we started conversing about many higher truths. So, so it is so great for me to share his knowledge in this session today, and I'm so happy that so many youngsters are here to listen to it. So let's start. You Forever is the name of the book, as the name is itself so intriguing that we live forever. We are eternal beings. So, a little more about Lobsang Rampa. If you want to know about third eye, if you want to know about astral travel, so he's the perfect guide. If Whenever you need the guidance, you can sit in meditation and ask him. He'll come and he'll guide. And I've heard many stories about others also whom he had been guiding in these techniques. So this book is what I understood is also very good about the fundamentals of spirituality when we are trying to understand spirituality. So this book becomes a base for everything. And he had been guiding in this book very beautifully, in very detailed, in very scientific terms. So when I was thinking which book can be really good for the youth to understand and have a grasp of spirituality, so about many books, I could find only this book because it is very important to have fundamentals right before we step into more higher things. So, firstly, in this book we'll get to know about how the whole journey of life, death, and uh, how the connection of our body is towards with the ourself, and how we are connected to different realms. So he in the starting he shares the concept of ourself. Ourself is uh, like we have a remote in our hand and we can play the robot, and he'll do all the functions as we ask him to do. Ourself is like that. So whatever activities we are doing down, the the whole remote is in the ourself, and he only uh, is making all our play happening here. So the more we are connected to our ourselves, the the better we can play here. He gives the example of Leonardo da Vinci. We know about Leonardo da Vinci. He was a master of paintings, he was a master of musician, he was a scientist, he was making machineries, and he could do a lot of things which in that time uh, he could think of more things in the coming 400, 500 years before only, and he was planning for that. So how come a person can live on that level? So uh, Lobsang Rampa says that he was always connected to his overself, and all the knowledge that he was bringing down was from his overself. So overself is like infinite wisdom. So whatever we want to know, if we are connected with our ourselves, we can know that truth. We can get that knowledge of any sort. He gives another example of artists, musicians, and how these people make their compositions, make their art. Imagine a simple symphony that a musician brings. So before making that music, he gets connected to his over self, and from that over self, he get that bits of pieces of wisdom or that music, and he creates this. So this is how connecting to our ourself can really help us living this life and living this life miraculously. One more, while reading this book and understanding the concepts, I meditated and I found this connection that why, if we know the story of Gita, then why Krishna and Arjuna, and why Krishna is giving jnana to Arjuna of this whole after this whole battle and after this whole play of Mahabharata. So basically, Krishna his over self and Arjuna is under self. By this example, we can understand this concept very well. And Krishna has to deliver all the knowledge to Arjuna so that he can have his growth on the higher level. So similarly, over self keeps on guiding the under self time to time in the best manner possible, so that he can grow on a higher level. So whenever an under self tries to learn something or gets any experiences, he raises a vibration, and that vibration is reached to the over self. So this is how the whole play is made. Isn't it so beautiful? At any time, if anyone has any question, please feel free to ask so that I can also elaborate on the topic. So we move on to next uh, topic that he shared is about etheric body. So he goes to the minute to the from the minute to the more higher things. So he goes from uh, tiny atoms, how the body is made, how each cells is interacting with each other, how the whole thing is connected with the electric circuit, and to the higher on a higher level, how whole body is connected to the over cells and all higher planes. So here he talks about the different layer of bodies. So one of the layer is etheric body. So etheric body is like an electromagnetic charge which is around our body in all our parts, outside our body. Even the hair has etheric body, and if we have small pimples or any sort of things, even on that also it will have a layer of etheric body. And with practice, we can learn to see etheric body. He gives a beautiful example of how in gyms or by any practice, by regular practice, we get to the result of making a muscle or getting a knowledge. Similarly, this is also a knowledge that we can have with regular practice. So the practice where he suggests through which we can see etheric body is uh, using a hand and in dim light, uh, slowly focusing on a hand, not having much of focus, but very light focus on our hands, and slowly making the fingers out and then again getting the fingers in very slowly. And slowly you'll start seeing some fumes sort of electric charge over your hand. So I got to see within a week only, within a week of practice. Though I also include a lot of meditation before and after all the experiments which I was practicing from this book. He also shares that uh, a lot of people have told us, or in movies also we see that ghosts are seen and at a certain amount of certain time around evening or in the uh, what do we say, where the dead bodies are kept. So basically those ghosts are nothing but etheric charge which has left the body. So it takes the shape of the body only, and it remains for certain time around the body and keeps on hovering there. So we think it's a ghost or something, but it's not like that. It's just the etheric charge which has just left the body. So all this charge which is running our body, so the mind by its activity and its thought keeps on regulating these electric charge. And this charge can be more pure, this charge can be more functioning if we have spirituality in it. If the mind is thinking spiritual thoughts, if the mind is trying to work for the benefit of the soul and the society, similarly the etheric charge will be of that. And before seeing the aura, we start seeing the etheric body. So the next is the aura. So let's go to the next one. Also, I would like to share one more experience that a lot of people use psychedelic drugs and a lot many mediums to experience all the higher truth and all the higher experiences. So I read that whenever a person try to use a secondary method to learn or to gain all this truth, so he basically get disassociated with the energies. And it's like if he's in the 5th and 6th class, he suddenly gets to read about 12th class, or he gets to read about more higher classes, which is not required for him. And those knowledge will naturally come if he simply completes the level he is at that time. So there was a friend of mine who used to practice all these things, and I told him about this book and how naturally he can gain all this knowledge without even trying for secondary methods. And he also came to Hyderabad and meditated in the big pyramid, the the biggest pyramid of India. And there he got the vision of Lobsang Rampa, where he was very scolding him to leave all those methods and to normally do meditation if he really wants to know whatever the knowledge he has been reading. And later on, he came and told me the experience, and we both were laughing on it. So I told him, so what, you should have listened to me earlier only. So this is how even Lobsang Rampa also recommends like this, that we should not take any secondary methods or should not skip any learnings. We should just naturally go with the learnings and the teaching that he has been providing. And it is very good also to uh, do meditation, do practice on these methods, and learn to see everything that he has been teaching rather than doing any secondary activities. So let's go about learning about aura. So this is very fantastic among the topics. So why we have to see aura, and how we can see aura, and what is aura? So as the etheric body is, so this is an extension of the etheric body. Etheric body is like a nucleus to the aura. And aura is also an electromagnetic charge only. So it is like a rainbow. So it will have all the colors. If the person is healthy, if the person is spiritual, if the person is in the right path, so all the colors will flow around in a sphere, sort of like an egg shape around the body beautifully. Similarly, if the person is not healthy or has some fears or has some doubts or maybe not in the right path or struggling somewhere, so everything can be seen in the aura. So if the person wants to know truth about other person, if the person wants to know the intentions behind any other person, so that this becomes really good tool to discern the reality. So everything is being revealed through the aura. our fears, our successes, our happiness, everything can be known. And it can be seen in our aura. It is like an egg shaped around us. Lower down, it gets narrow, and above us, it becomes a bigger shape. So that is the basic of aura. A lot more can be known through the colors of aura and how each color signifies each aspect or each learning a person is going through. The more yellow or the more oranges he gets in the aura, that means he's more spiritual. That's why we see in the halo of a person that there's more yellow or the more oranges that we see in the paintings that artist has used. Because it signifies more spiritual aspect of a person. Also, in the practice of learning aura, we can also understand by feeling also. So sometimes we get to get in a room and we don't feel like, or we do not uh, vibrate with the room. It's because the aura of the room is not in sync with our aura. Similarly, if we try to wear certain color clothes, those colors are not matching with our aura. So we'll start feeling little agitated or little itchy in our body. That is the sign that the color or is not going with the color of our aura. So this is also a sign of reading aura, because a lot of people won't be able to see, but they will be able to feel. This is also a psychic ability. So can be a lot of colors can be identified with a what do we say, like nature of a person. If the person is very greedy or envy, so we'll have more green in his aura. If the person is very fearful or trying to be very bossy or is in very anger, so we'll be able to see red, more of red or dark red or towards black in his aura. Similarly, a lot of diseases also can be like predicted before before it is actually going to happen in our body. If someone is getting a toothache or someone is having some issue in his body or certain part, so that part will start getting towards red or getting towards black or brown. So uh, so all those diseases can be also known beforehand, and we can take care of it by raising our vibration or doing more meditation or taking help of more higher masters and trying to understand on. So this is how the sages were able to understand and help us. If we have heard of the stories that a sage comes in front of someone's house and starts speaking that this is what is happening, or if he meets, he gets to know the past of that person. So aura can reveal all this truth about a person. So these were the few which I wanted to share today, before, as this class is divided into two. So a lot of more higher topics or subjects I'll be sharing in the next one. So these were the basic which I thought would I be sharing today. So tomorrow I'll be sharing on more on telepathy, clairvoyance, and astral travel. I'll give the a little bit introduction about astral travel in this one. So, as we experience astral travel in our sleeps also, in our dream state, where we get to meet a lot of our friends and uh, a lot of our masters or our guardians. So those are astral travel, but it is very unconscious, and it takes around 6 to 8 hours of our sleep where we get to do astral travel. But all those activities can be done consciously as well, where through meditation we can, after a certain amount of time or practice, we can consciously leave our astral body and can choose to be anywhere possible, choose to go to any realm possible. So this happens through an astral cord which is connected to this physical body, which is called silver cord. It is a high vibration of light and information which keeps on traveling. The information keeps on traveling through that cord from this physical body to astral body, and astral body to all those astral realms. So a lot of our higher learnings is done through our astral body, and masters who want to learn or gain a lot of higher knowledge and higher wisdom, they use astral body to meet, because a lot of masters are not here in our physical realm or in physical body. So those masters can be accessed through this astral body, and we can gain a lot of knowledge through our astral bodies. So it takes a lot, more than 10 years or sometimes lifetime for a certain person to gain all this knowledge of clairvoyance or telepathy or seeing aura. But we should practice as much as possible. So within this life also we will be able to see all those. Although he gave all this knowledge a lot many years before, and in these time the time is the spiritual progress is getting very fast. It's earlier it used to take 40 days for someone to be in uh, be in the energetic body or being in the spiritual evolution, but it takes only 21 days right nowadays to get into that new energetic body. So time has been, the current time is really fast for someone's progress. So we are in touch with a lot of people who have been uh, practicing and getting all this psychic abilities. I know a lot of people, a lot of masters who have been practicing. So anyone can have all this knowledge.
Ankit, it was wonderful listening to your experience. We got to know about many topics like what is etheric body and how is it seen, how is it visible, and what is aura. And even I had that experience of where when we wear a dress and it doesn't suits our aura and we don't feel good about it. That was a good information, and the impact of drugs and how not to skip the teachings and to be natural and
Yeah.
let and be in the flow.
Yes.
So aura, like how can people experience it? How is it visible? Or how many days does it take for a normal person to see an aura?
As per his words, it takes around 10 years of practice or to see an aura. But I think, as I said, this time of spiritual happening has been very fast for people. So I think within few months people should be able to see, but it needs a lot of practice and sadhana. And the practice where how he suggests is sitting in front of a mirror with a candle light or very dim light, and how I showed about etheric body in the same way. We can have low focus and we can focus on that body. You can use another person also, but we should not wear any clothes because that will have its own energy. So a naked body maybe during shower time, or you can pick a time. We can practice this for half an hour or 1 hour. So slowly you'll be able to see your. So you can also practice in the morning where when the sun is about to rise. So that time is also very good because that time is also called Brahma Muhurta. So a lot of energies will be high. You'll naturally be in a higher state. So that time comes, you can also practice to see your, yeah. Or just go with your feeling, because the feeling is also one of the ways.
Aura, we can call it as some electromagnetic energy around us or any element.
Yes, it's electromagnetic fluctuations only, because everything as we think is electromagnetic only. So that is made of electromagnetic charge
What
around us.
factors affect the aura?
Major factor that he suggests is our doubts and our fear on anything, like before, like we have a toothache. So before making that toothache, or if the tooth has to be removed for a certain action, we start to have a lot of thoughts behind it. What will happen, this and that, I'll have a lot of pain. I'll start having those thought cycle, and the thought cycle will keep on increasing based on how much I know about reality. If I know that this is a simpler task, or I already have that knowledge in me, I won't be having so much of thought. So these thoughts will affect all the aura around it. So I will be having some dark or red aura around me right here because I'm thinking a lot, having so much of it. Similarly, on a larger scale, also people bring a lot of wars and a lot of fights into their own lives just because of thinking, and this thinking will attract all those situations in their life. So that will reflect in our aura. So this is the basic that he says that it will affect. Similarly, one more way is by asking, because a lot of people, if we are into this world, we tend to interact with a lot of people. So those aura can also be exchanged. If we are regular in touch with a person who is not acting right, so those aura will affect us. So one method is to, whenever we are in a situation when we are not sure of, our aura will be affected, so we should lock our aura before going anywhere. You can ask our masters to lock it so that it will be locked in that moment. And whenever we are think that we are thinking we are safe, we can unlock that aura. So yeah, really nice question you asked. A lot of things are getting back.
How to develop strong aura?
By doing more and more of spiritual work and spiritual practices, getting more knowledge, and how Patri sir says, jitna knowledge milta hai, we have to share with others. So doing more of this spiritual works, we can enhance our aura, increase our aura.
Does our daily intake of food habits impact aura as well?
Yes. The kind of food you have will impact everything, because at then that is also an energy and it is going through energetic process. So no intake of non-veg. Non-veg should not be taken because it is going through a lot of negative karma, and if we take that, all those karmas will be taken by us and we have to face it. One more example, that one of my college mentor teacher, I've been suggesting him a lot of meditation, and I've been guiding him to all this, but through his non-veg intake, he's not able to progress in his life. And now, after 4 5 years, he has to go through a stomach or intestine surgery, physical surgery, because he has been taking non-veg. So it is very important to not take non-veg. Yeah, diet is very important. Yeah. One more thing I got to know about from this question is what happens when a person has split personality. If as we know, we have seen in movies, so that person will be having double aura, one aura here and one more aura here, like an egg split into two halves. So time to time will shift from this aura to that aura. The moment he shifts, so whole energetic structure is changed and his personality is changed. So that is very interesting thing that I got to know from this. Yeah.
How has your spiritual journey helped in your profession?
Yes, very, very nice question. From the starting, I was into arts, and I knew that through art, I'm able to make other people happy, and I'm able to share some knowledge through my art. I was not interested into normal routine work or normal routine job. So I also understood that I have this quality of sharing my inner feeling, but I was not into meditation. So a lot of time I used to go into a lot of pain of not able to live in this normal life, because there was always questions and doubts about jobs, and not able to really express whatever you want. But through meditation, I naturally got everything, the kind of job that I wanted, and people normally getting satisfied with whatever I'm doing, and my family getting satisfied, and everyone getting satisfied with mere simple works. And whichever way I wanted, everything happened that way only. Like I was into animation, and I wanted to serve this animation industry through my art. So I got in the best uh, studio that is working in Delhi, in Gurgaon. So, which I never thought I'll be able to get to. So this is how meditation has really helped me. Naturally, getting everything that I wanted. All my dreams are getting true through meditation. I don't really have to do much efforts. It's just the regular teaching that I follow from Patriji and all the mentors of PSS. So yeah, that is how it's helping.
Can we know more about over self and under self? It's not an easy topic to understand.
Yes, I think each topic is itself a class. So it's like a hand and fingers, and if we dip one finger in a glass of water, so this hand is like an ourself, and water is a reality called, if we say, earth. So the finger dipped in earth is the finger experiencing the life of earth, and this hand is the ourself. Similarly, this ourself, we have a ourself, and that ourself has sent us here to have an experience of life, to have all the knowledge and express all that knowledge. And all the experiences we gather here will be going back to the ourself back. In the terms of gods and all, we can say that Shiva is an overself, and if we have heard of Mahavatar Babaji, he is his under self taking life on earth. and Shiva's overself is the cosmic, the source. So the source has given birth to Shiva and Shiva to Babaji. This is how overself and underself can be said. Yeah.
How do we connect to our over self, and how do we identify who is our over self energy?
So most we are whenever we are connected or we feel in touch with a master, so that is part of our ourself in simple terms. So we should not think of personality in all terms, but the knowledge. And the simpler way is to go to your soul feelings, understand your feelings. It's not really easy to understand that right feeling, because a lot of times our minds also play a lot of role. But through a lot of meditation and reading books and sharing our experiences also, it's like a hidden trial. We'll get to know more and more about this feeling. And whenever we are connected to our higher self or our ourselves, so we'll see that we are acting on very big mind. You'll see, you'll be able to see the bigger picture. You'll be able to do things which your words, your actions, all will start to feel like you are God yourself. You'll be able to tell people, and people will listen to you, and all the things you'll be able to do in minute seconds. So you'll see that you're connected to some higher knowledge, and the more you surrender to that knowledge, the more that knowledge will try to help you because a lot of work has to happen for humanity. Yes, and if you do not know, if you're not able to understand, go to that person whom you think is able to understand and whom you think has found this answer. So that person will also guide you. Yeah, so these are the ways.
Into astral traveling, do we have any tips to remember our so-called dreams or astral traveling?
Yes, I'll take that in the next class, but yes, there are tips. The basic tip is to be aware in the whole day. You have to be aware in every moment, in every action, every thought. Yes, this topic itself is very big if I start, but this is the basic. And one tip is whenever you are just out of your dream state or in astral travel, you start noting down whatever you got and making an astral journal. So there are many more ways. Simply by doing meditation also, we can do astral travel. But yeah, these are some starting points starting astral travel.
Can you tell more about the author Lobsang Rampa?
So Lobsang Rampa was living in a monastery in Tibet, where his father was a big leader in that area, and in that time there was a process of how monk has been made, and his whole history had been used to be written before someone becomes a big monk and all this process. So he was always psychic with all the higher knowledges, but he was not sure of what it is and how it really means in his life. He wasn't sure of. So he goes to a monastery and gets trained in all those process. So yeah, that is also a book there's one more book called Rampa Story and another book about how he got his third eye. So yeah, that's how he gets all the knowledge, and he goes through a lot of a painful process of all. process also where his like the normal eye gets removed, and all those masters gives him his third eye. And his later part of the journey, he leaves his body and goes to another person's body, consciously walks into another person's body because he has to do work in another area. For example, he has to work in Russia, where he physically cannot go there, so he leaves this body because this body is of no use, and takes that body and does the spiritual soul work that he has to do. So there are many interesting facts if one reads about his life and how he has dedicated his life for spiritual work. Yeah.
Friends, if you have any questions, you can unmute yourself and ask. I take that as no. Ankit, thanks a lot for your great insight and sharing your wisdom, taking your precious time to share your experiences with our viewers.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mansa,